O'Reilly. Are your wiper blades chattering, skipping, or squeaking? Don't let streaks or smearing on your windshield compromise your visibility. When it's time to replace your wiper blades, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and see our selection. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades while you wait. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You ever get that feeling the walls closing in, the concrete jungle suffocating you? You crave some wide open spaces, the chance to connect with nature, maybe in a spot all your own. Well, head over to land.com. They've got ranches, forests, mountains, streams, you name it. Search by acreage. You can search by location. You can search by the kind of hunting and fishing you're dreaming of. Land.com. It is where the adventure begins. There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store, or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a special episode of the Hunting Collective. I'm Ben O'Brien. Today we have no guests on the show because we're going to talk about something pretty momentous for the podcast and for me personally. Hopefully for you, everybody that listens every week and joins us for every conversation. It's an announcement that I've been alluding to probably for months, something we've been working on for quite some time, around a year to get this to you guys. It's an announcement that I care a lot about. So without further ado, a special episode of the show coming up, just me talking about this new thing. Enjoy. Well, this is weird for me because there is no guest on the podcast today. It's just me talking to me in a room. Kind of weird. Weird because that's not what this podcast is meant to be. It's not meant to be about me. It's not really meant to be about announcements or what we're doing right now. It's meant to be a shared conversation between all of us that go hunting, love to do it, love going outside, love the natural world, love issues around it, love politics, love the philosophies of hunting and hunters, love all the ideas we share and those types of things. Obviously, if you've listened to the podcast and you care about this announcement, you'll already know all those things. But what you won't know is that for the last 10 months or so, I've been working on what had led to today, what had led to this announcement. Now, I could take you way, way back to when this first started, but I think everybody knows the history of the person that we're talking about. Even if you listen to episode 1 of this podcast, you'll know Steve and Rinella. And you'll know that he was the first episode of this podcast for a reason, because he's somebody that I very much admire. And I very much hope that my career could, at some level, achieve the heights that he has. Not in money or adulation or fame, but in impact. An impact on the hunting community, the fishing community, the community of people that like to go outside and appreciate the natural world, want to learn about it, want to share that with others, and truly think it enriches their lives. Steve has in his relatively short career as a writer, author, TV show host, podcast host, done that in spades, I think. I think Steve is a great example of somebody who has affected many people. And on the first podcast, we talked about how the power of ideas. We talked about the power of having something in your gut, in your head and your heart, and not being able to really talk about it in the way you'd want, not be able to express yourself, having an idea but not being able to form it, and then reading someone's writing or listening to their podcast or experiencing their ideas and their perspective and allowing those things to shape your own ideas and allowing you then better to express yourself. Steve went through that. I've gone through that. In my example, I've gone through that mainly because of Steve's writings and because of his podcast and all the things he's said and done over his career. And it inspired me to hopefully create a podcast that would do that for the folks that would listen to it. They would experience a conversation. They would be able to listen intently to that conversation and then get some perspective from shared ideas. So I say all that to say the announcement is that the Hunting Collective is joining a company called MeatEater Inc. And MeatEater Inc. is a company founded by Steve Rinella. It's a company that's based in Bozeman, Montana, and is going to be a media company. The media company is going to focus on what we're calling HF2C. It's a fancy acronym for Hunt, Fish, Conservation, and Culinary. The four things that we really care about the most. And the podcast is joining a network of other podcasts, other podcasters, other writers, other people that share the ethos that Steve and I share, that is basically that we love the outdoors, we regard it as sacred, and we believe that that deeper connection to nature enriches all of our lives. That's why we get up in the morning, and that's why the Hunting Collective is joining MeatEater Incorporated and all its properties that will become this company. That's why I joined the company, left Yeti, went from Texas, moved to Bozeman, Montana, to join MeatEater Incorporated and become its editorial director. Those who don't know, I can tell you that in my past life, before I was with Yeti, I was a journalism student, a longtime editor for different websites and magazines around the hunting industry, and that's really my passion. And so what a partnership with Steve Rinella and MeatEater Incorporated offered to me was a chance to take this podcast to a larger platform, and it was a chance for me to lead the editorial output of the platform at the same time. And so that's what this is. And that shared idea, that I talked about in the beginning of this, is really like we're just this like-minded group of people. We're passionate about content creation. And hopefully what Steve teaches you guys and what he taught me is the ability to articulate these complex ideas in an honest, a thoughtful, a challenging, in a funny way. It's irreverent sometimes, and sometimes surprising. And so the reason that I followed Steve to this and other folks have as well is because we want to become one, really. I mean, that's kind of melodramatic way to say it, but we want to come and take this shared idea and bring as many people into it as we can, both content creators, audience members, people that listen. We want you to come and be a part of this thing and share it with us. We want to be collective storytellers of hunting, fishing, eating, living the outdoor life, and letting the natural world be the thing that drives us. So you'll see a lot of press releases today and other times about this company. You'll see kind of the blocking and tackling, right, of how you announce a company, press releases and different things like that. But I wanted you to hear this from me in the audio format of a podcast because it takes more explanation than just here's a list of people doing a thing to make for their jobs, and they'll make money and they'll make content and all these other things. Because that to me is not the purpose for my joining MeatEater Incorporated, for the Hunting Collective joining its podcast network and content network. When Steve and I first started talking about this company and possibly my coming aboard and leaving my great job where I was prior, we started talking about, why you get out of bed in the morning. And I'm not the kind of person, if you listen to this podcast, hopefully you know that by now, I'm not the type of person that can get out of bed in the morning for any other reason than I would just say it's tribal in nature. I want to get up in the morning and feel like I'm working towards my passion with a bunch of other people that share that same passion. And at the end of the day, being a journalist means you tell stories. And in this case, you tell stories to increase the opportunity for other folks to come along in that passion and maybe have that kind of sprout or bloom in them, and for them to take up hunting or fishing or whatever it might be, going outside and procuring your food, eating that stuff. And so it's that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's why do we get out of bed in the morning? It's not how are we going to make money and build houses and have life. It's we'll get there, but it's why do we get out of bed in the morning? And as a content creator, there's not, go look at cable TV, look around the internet, clickbait, network news. There's so many types and forms of media and content out there that's not meant to better you. And it's not made by people that are passionate about what you care about and care about you. And so part of it is my idealism and everybody else involved in MeatEater Incorporated, the idealistic notion that when we get up out of bed in the morning, we're thinking about the same thing. We're thinking about hunting, fishing, the conservation of our ideals, and the cooking of the things that we gather when we go outside. And those things enrich our lives. And that's what we're thinking about when we get out of bed. Those things. And if that is true, if everybody is on that same basic wavelength, then MeatEater Incorporated and the Hunting Collective and all that this really becomes in the future, because it has a long way to go, but we won't have to worry about clickbait or sensationalism. We won't have to worry about those things because we care about what you care about. And that's the basis of this thing. And so when people ask, what's the company? What are you even doing? Well, isn't MeatEater a TV show? Isn't that Steve Rinella's TV show? What are you even, do you just work for Steve Rinella's TV show? And I would say no. Steve Rinella's TV show and MeatEater as a brand will be a big part of our company. It will not be the only part of our company. The Hunting Collective will be a big part of our media brand. Wired to Hunt with our friend Mark Kenyon, a whitetail expert, all around good dude. He'll be a big part of the company with he's bringing on his brand Wired to Hunt. Expert fly fisherman straight out of British Columbia, April Vokey, has come on to be a big part, and her podcast Anchored, her brand around that, has come on. Eduardo Garcia, celebrated chef, and was featured in the documentary Charged. He's also coming on to share his thoughts and ideas with us, man. And those are all parts of this company. So it's a network of content creators, is what I would say. And we conceive, we create, we distribute, digital and physical content experiences, and we'll have events, we'll have all types of things out there for you. That's what's going to grow. So there's a lot of questions around what this is going to be, but in reality, it's a bunch of content creators who care about the space, care about hunt, fish, conservation, culinary, and are coming together to forward that mission that I spoke about in our why. And it doesn't really matter what kind of media we create. Podcasts are certainly popular right now, and everybody I just mentioned that's coming aboard has a podcast. So that's important right now. But there's also every other connection we can have with you, whether it's having a live podcast event or whether it's just going from town to town and cooking backstraps with everybody. I think for me, what MeatEater Incorporated hopefully will be was just a common place for us to share ideas and passions. I try at the same time that I say that to make sure that it doesn't come off cliche or marketing-y or whatever, but it is, it's very sincere. and it's something that Mr. Rinella and I, Mr. Kenyon, Miss Vokey, Mr. Garcia. We also have Patrick Durkin, a great writer out of Wisconsin. We've got Danielle Pruitt from Walden Hole doing recipes. We've just and really we're going to add many more. You're going to see lots of announcements in the coming months about what we're doing, why we're doing it. We'll be adding more folks. It's all those folks coming together to speak in one voice to the things we care about.
O'Reilly Auto Parts are in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offer friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need for all your maintenance and repairs. If you're confused about what part you need, like what wipers are going to be the best, what replacement headlights are going to be the best, go into O'Reilly and talk to the people that work there because they're great and they're super friendly and they'll get you squared away where you walk out knowing you got the right thing. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you never have to worry if you're in a jam. Do you need your windshield wipers replaced? You need a brake light fixed? You need some quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in-store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/MeatEater. You ever get that feeling you're stuck inside staring at screens and a primal urge kicks in? You crave wide open spaces, fresh air, the chance to connect with the land. Well, maybe it's time to find your own piece of the wild, but searching for property can be a maze. That's where Land.com comes in. They got millions of listings across the country, from mountain ranches to hidden fishing holes. Their search tools are like a seasoned guide helping you narrow down what you want. Land.com isn't just about buying and selling. It's about finding a place to hunt, fish, explore, or simply sit by a campfire and listen to the crickets. So head over to Land.com today to turn one day into today, because trust me, there's nothing quite like the feeling of standing on your own piece of earth. There's nothing like snook hook sets at dawn or catching a tarpon in the moonlight. Find your next fishing trip made easy on fishingbooker.com and experience the magic of the Sunshine State or any other destination on your fishing bucket list. Book a blue water adventure in search of sailfish or go snapper fishing with the kids. With over 6,000 captains and trips to choose from, planning your next one just got a whole lot easier. Download the Fishing Booker app on the Google Play or App Store or visit them online at fishingbooker.com to book your trip today.
So hopefully that's not too cliche for you, but that's what this is. And that's what it's going to be in the future. This won't change the Hunting Collective. It'll still be exactly how it is. We will continue next week with episode 30 and our episodic string of conversations. And those conversations will be designed to make the hunting community a better place through other people's stories, perspectives, and ideas. That will continue, and it will be amplified by MeatEater Incorporated and its network of podcasts. So the first effort we've done is our website. So if you go to themeateater.com, you're going to check out articles from the aforementioned contributors, including Kenyon and Vokey and myself and Steve Rinella. You'll see a lot of things starting to happen there around hunt, fish, conservation, and culinary. And what I'm asking you today is to follow along with the rest of our path, our journey of creating this company. Because it's a media company. It's not for us. It's for you. And so we've really decided that being, open with everyone about what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, and letting you follow us along the way as we build this thing is the best way to do it. So we're going to show you behind the curtains who we want to add, why we want to add them to this network, what they can bring to the table. And there's going to be a lot of folks you'll recognize that hopefully come and join us. And there'll be a lot of folks maybe you don't recognize that we think are talented folks that share our why and that can share thoughts, ideas, and creativity with you. Folks who listen to this, who listen to MeatEater's podcast, who listen to Wired to Hunt, who listen to Anchored. and who enjoy the things we enjoy. And I have this like bulleted point list of what to talk about in front of me, but I keep going back to the why. And when you create a company, any company, it's around, if you don't know your why, then you're just selling widgets. I mean, Steve Jobs knew Apple's why. And he told them to think different. Think different they did. They changed the freaking world. Now, we don't have visions of changing the world here with this company. But we surely do have visions of making a difference. And lifting up the entire hunting world, man. The entire hunting world being lifted up by this thing. That's what we want to do. We don't want to push anyone else down. Rising tide, man. We want to be the rising tide. We want to lift all ships and lift our world up with us, our hunting world, our fishing world. And bear in mind that this is called the Hunting Collective, but fishing is not something I do a whole lot of right now, to be honest with you, because I love hunting so much. It kind of envelops my whole life. But fishing, I think, is much the same activity as hunting. It's just that it's appreciation of the natural world. So while we probably won't cover that a whole lot on this podcast, I'm happy to be working with somebody like April Vokey, who hopefully, if you know her, if you don't know her, look her up. But if you do know her, you'll know that she's an expert of experts, man. She is fully immersed in the fly fishing world. She knows more than I'll ever hope to know. And similar for Mark Kenyon, who knows, more about whitetails than I'll ever hope to learn. And that's what's exciting about coming together with those folks and learning from them, and them learning from my experience, and vice versa with Steve. And so I think we all know at the end of the day that the hunting world has room to improve, right? That's not the reason we're doing this, but we know that there's some things we can do better as a community to message against, to learn against, and to let the world know what we're all about. And now that brings me back to what was the purpose of this podcast, if you can call it that, just me talking. We made this company, right? We put this company together and we sat down and we said, why are we doing this? What's our why? And it was that whole big thing about how the natural world enriches our lives. I mean, that's what we came to. We sat in a room, we talked and we talked and we talked, and Rinella threw this line out, and we all were like, whoa, that's it. That's it, man. That gave me chills when I heard that the first time, when he said what would become our why. But also, why? I also thought, for hunters, why do we kill things? And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Why? We know why we made this company. But do I know why I kill things? And again, it's not harvesting. It's killing. You harvest the meat, but you kill the animal. There's a living being that now is gone from the earth because you made it so. And so connected to the why of the company is the why for our community. Why do we go hunting? Why do we kill things? And in the hunting and the killing, why do we act the way we do when we're doing it? And what's more important, why can't we seem to get across to the rest of the world this most enriching thing in the right way? Why does it seem that our storyline falls short with the non-hunting public? Why did our message get twisted somewhere along the way? And it's an interesting parallel, I believe. I believe why anybody does anything is one of the more interesting topics that we could cover. We talked about, like I said earlier, why do you get out of bed in the morning? Well, why do I get out of bed in the morning is different than everyone else. But let's find our common beliefs and let that drive us. So that's what MeatEater Inc. will do. But parallel to that, what I want to do with the Hunting Collective going forward, propelled by this new network of content creators, is explore everyone's why. Why does Mark Kenyon like whitetail hunting? Why does Steve and Rinella love a good elk hunt? Why does someone celebrate when an animal dies? Why does the person across the room become very solemn and sad when an animal dies? Why? Because I think we've struggled with why as a hunting community. And I've struggled with my own why. I think just once a year I check in with myself and I said, did your why change? Did the way you hunt change? You've experienced a whole year's worth of hunting. Did that change you in any way? And retake stock of why I go and do what I do. And try to keep that as pure as possible in this world with all the motivations and all the things that can happen. Try to keep it as pure as possible. And so connecting those two whys, why we made MeatEater Incorporated a company, and why do we go hunting? The way they're connected is by the people involved in MeatEater Incorporated, the content creators that can help teach me why they go. So maybe it'll shine a light on why I go. And that brings it all the way back to the very beginning of this podcast when I asked Steve Rinella, what is the point of all this? What is the point of being a writer and an editor and an author? And he said, because somewhere deep down inside of me was a why. Somewhere deep down inside of me was this idea that I couldn't articulate, but it was my why. It was deep down in there. And then I read a book by someone who already had their why figured out. I read a book, and that book shared an idea that shaped the way that I was able to express my why. And that changed my life. I was like, damn, that was a great first podcast. So hopefully you can, after this one, go back and listen to a real podcast, which is me talking to Steve, not me just talking. But go back and listen to that one and try to find the part where Steve connects his brother's experience with shaping ideas, his experience with shaping ideas. There's a bit in there that goes to Steve's why and my why. It's because shared ideas shape perspectives, and perspectives can shape the freaking world, man. Without being, again, too dramatic about it. So, if anybody might criticize the creation of this company, they might criticize it as just another media venture. Just another venture of a bunch of people trying to get together, put media out there, sell advertising against it, trick people into buying stuff. What I can tell you is this company is about more than that. This company is about more than that. And I hope we can prove that to you as a group led by Steve Rinella. I hope we can prove that to you in the weeks, years, months to come, that we are about more than just a dollar, that we are about more than just the commerce side of things, and that our content will be only influenced by you, the audience, who reads, listens, and takes it in. And then that if anyone joins our company and begins to create content for any other purpose, we will kick them out. And so, again, I fear that I am being dramatic, but I'm passionate about this idea. I'm passionate about my why right now. And I'm passionate about this company. So I hope that you follow along with this podcast, with Wired to Hunt, with April Vokey's podcast, Anchored, with, of course, the MeatEater podcast. I hope you listen to what everybody has to say and enjoy our shared ideas. And as we bring more folks on to this community of content creators, hope you follow them too. And I hope we don't take up your whole day listening to podcasts and reading things, but at some level, I hope we do. Because I hope we're It's a conversation and exchange that makes sense. And so I'll close by saying thanks for everybody that followed along in our Texas series of podcasts and the podcasts that followed it. It took us a while to get to this announcement, but I'm glad we're here. I'm glad MeatEater Incorporated is out to the world. The new MeatEater.com is there. Don't think that's the end of our products and the things we're going to put out for everybody. Don't think that's it. I mean, we're going to have TV. We're going to have, way more than just podcasts. As an example of that, Steven freaking Rinella, the man we've been talking about this entire time, is launching a freaking hunting show that's a Netflix original. It's a Netflix original hunting show, and he's launching it on October 2nd, which is today. So, if you're downloading this on Tuesday, October 2nd, or any other day that you listen to this, go to Netflix, find MeatEater, and watch it. Because inside there will be a big reason that the Hunting Collective is part of that show. Or not part of that show. It's part of the company that was born from that show. And it's part of the reason why this 25-minute podcast exists. But really, it's just also a kick-ass show. First episode, you got Joe Rogan on there hunting mule deer in Nevada. It's badass, man. I've been privileged to watch it before everyone else got their hands on it. So just go and look and listen and follow along with us. And hopefully we'll see you out in the field somewhere, man. We'll see you at an event, see you at a conservation function, and we can talk about these ideas because that's what it is. A shared conversation. So until next time, episode 30 is coming at you, and it's going to be a good one. It's one of my favorites. So we'll see you then. That's it. That's all. Special episode of the Hunting Collective is done. Hopefully you understood my ramblings. 26 minutes or so ramblings, just me in a room alone, talking to myself, talking to you. So hopefully you understood what I was getting at and are excited for the launch of the Hunting Collective as part of the MeatEater Podcast Network and MeatEater Incorporated as a whole. So in the meantime, before you get to episode 30 next week with my friend Charles, the Rabbit Man Rodney, one of my favorite podcasts we've ever done, before we get there next week, spend the next 7 days over at the MeatEater.com. And the MeatEater.com will have all of the Hunting Collective episodes that we've posted in the past. It'll have new articles by our friends Mark Kenyon, April Vokey, Eduardo Garcia, Pat Dirk, and Danielle Pruitt. And of course, Mr. Rinella, Steve Rinella. And there's plenty to poke around over there. We spent a lot of time putting this website together, and we hope you enjoy the content therein. We, again, cranked over this in the last month or so to try to get it live so you guys could enjoy. In the next coming months and weeks, we'll be adding other contributors to it. We'll be adding other articles and content to it. Make sure also, if you go to that website, you sign up for the weekly newsletter that will get everything going. And again, make sure today, whenever you hear this, go to Netflix and watch MeatEater TV Season 8. It's a Netflix original, dude. That's a celebration. There is one hunting show that's a Netflix original in the history of the freaking universe, and it is MeatEater TV with Steven Rinella. So I'm excited to be a part of that in some small way, and excited to have this here for you. So we'll see you next time on the Hunting Collective. Bye.
You ever get that feeling the walls closing in, the concrete jungle suffocating you? You crave some wide open spaces, the chance to connect with nature, maybe in a spot all your own. Well, head over to land.com. They've got ranches, forests, mountains, streams, you name it. Search by acreage. You can search by location. You can search by the kind of hunting and fishing you're dreaming of. Land.com. It is where the adventure begins.
As you know, the MeatEater live tour is on April 23rd through May 5th. Chances are in a town near you. What you may not know is you can win tickets to each of these events just by going to a backcountry hunters and anglers pint night. There's going to be a pint night in each of these towns: San Diego, Salt Lake City, Tempe, Anaheim, Boise, Sacramento, Missoula, Portland, Tacoma, where you can compete in MeatEater trivia and win not only tickets to the show, but a chance to be on stage with all of us. So get your butt to a pint night, and we'll see you on stage.